Unfortunately, with my work schedule, I think the most often I can make videos is going to be 5 or 6 days. Hey, did you notice I didn't start with, hey, what's up, guys? No, I just want to change up a little bit. Work is work, man. I wish I got paid for this so I could do this all the time. You know, like Sargon, all he does is make videos, and he makes enough money off that for a living. But I know with the whole YouTube ad controversy, even huge channels that have hundreds of thousands of subscribers only making a couple $100 a month, not even close to live off of. You know, so and my channel is just a tiny little fraction of that. So even if I manage to get my channel that big, it's not gonna make enough to live on. So this is what we have to deal with in the meantime. So today is Monday. So yesterday, Jeff Sessions, our amazing U.S. Attorney General, wrote an op-ed in the Washington Post. My favorite Attorney General with my favorite newspaper. How amazing. And Jeff Sessions, being Attorney General, is supposed to uphold the rights of Americans and not have the government break them. But oh, look, in his op-ed, he's saying he's going to do exactly the opposite of that. His title, his wonderful, groundbreaking title is "Lax Drug Enforcement Means More Violence." I do this so often. I like this. Like the best reaction when I read something so stupid, and I just don't want to yell at it, but I want to shout how stupid it is. So I'm just like, anyway. You know, it's funny, Jeff, that you say that. Jeff-fa-fa. You're using an unnecessary F. You know, it's funny because really vigorous drug enforcement, like the ones that you're proposing, you know, creates much more violence than lax drug enforcement. You know, so it's, you know, the war on drugs that you are a proponent of, that has police officers arming themselves like military soldiers and then killing thousands of Americans every single year and then violently arresting them for victimless crimes and then putting them in jail for years and more, dozens of years, ruining families and costing taxpayers billions of dollars. Did I mention killing people? Let's talk about the violence. We're not going to talk about how it ruins people's lives and costs taxpayers billions of dollars every single year and means militarizing the police. You know, that's not just inherently violent. But just the sheer number of people that the drug war kills, and you're saying, oh, that's better than lax drug enforcement. Lax drug enforcement is going to create more violence than the war on American people, the war on victimless crimes. So, as a libertarian, I do not support the criminalization of victimless crimes. If a person chooses to put a substance in his or her body, there is no victim. They are, as an adult, if you're a kid, it's different. If you're an adult and you put it in your body, you're choosing to do so. There is no crime. There is no victim. There's just nothing. It's just you are choosing to do something to yourself. Even if someone else might think it's stupid, like cigarettes, for example. Cigarettes are fucking retarded. I would never smoke in a million years. But if someone else wants to, and they're not like right in front of my face, then they are an adult. They can choose to put those horrible substances in their body if they so choose. As long as it doesn't hurt me, I don't give a shit. I got like 10,000 more important things to worry about. So that's a libertarian stance. You know, if there's no victim, if there's no crime, then stop wasting all of this fucking money that you don't have, by the way, because you're $29 trillion in debt. How is a country that's $29 trillion in debt when they can print money? That's how retarded the government is. But side note, we're getting sidetracked here. Jeff starts off with a bombshell of a first sentence. Drug trafficking is inherent violent business. Well, actually, I agree with that, Jeff. Then we should just legalize all drugs. So drug trafficking, the profits that people will make by doing that will be substantially lower than they are right now, because a person could go down the street to 7-Eleven and buy marijuana, for example. Or if you want to have it more vigorous than that, which as a libertarian, of course, I don't support. Private companies should be able to sell whatever they want. It shouldn't have to go through an ABC store like in Virginia where hard liquor has to go to the ABC store. But as a compromise, fine, whatever, hypothetically, fine. If an ABC store can sell marijuana, then go the fuck ahead. There are trafficking of legal substances, like cigarettes, for example, are legal. You can buy them anywhere. People still traffic cigarettes illegally through the black market because it's cheaper to do so. So just because you legalize all drugs doesn't mean that there wouldn't be any drug trafficking. But the profit, the amount of work they put in versus the profit they would get back for that work would be significantly lower, because they have competitors. They have private companies that can do it legally in huge factories. You know, they don't have to do it in the basement somewhere or way far away in another country and pay for all this stuff to come in. The profits of competing with legal private businesses in the U.S. would be much less, so there would be less drug trafficking. So I agree, Jeff, that drug trafficking is inherently violent. So why don't we legalize all drugs so then drug trafficking will go down and there'll be less violence? If you want to collect a drug debt, you can't and don't file a lawsuit in court. You collect it by the barrel of the gun. You know, it's funny because also taxes are paid. You don't pay taxes, police point a gun, come to your house and point a gun at you and say, pay your taxes, you're going to jail. Yeah, so you're okay with enforcing your policies through the barrel of a gun, but as soon as a drug trafficker enforces his policies through the barrel of a gun, then it's suddenly bad. And you're going to say, well, we have the law on our side. Well, you make the laws. You just make a law saying you can do whatever you want, and then, wow, what a surprise. The law allows you to do that, Jeff. Wow, what a fucking surprise. For the approximately 52,000 Americans who died of a drug overdose in 2015, drug trafficking was a deadly business. So now he tries to pull on the heartstrings of Americans by saying, I'm trying to save those 52,000 Americans who died of a drug overdose in 2015. And guess what? Those 52,000 Americans that died from drug overdoses in 2015, was 2015 or 2016? 2015. Just like, that still happened even when Obama was accelerating the war on drugs like a motherfucker. So even when you are killing thousands of people in the name of war on drugs, you still have tens of thousands of people dying from drug overdose. Because guess what? People, especially Americans, but there's lots of people, just a huge chunk of the world's population are fucking retarded. If you're so stupid to take heroin and take so much of it that you overdose, or you take cocaine from someone and you don't know what's in it, the drug dealer might not know what's in it, and something else is in it, and that kills you from overdose, then that's your own fucking fault. I'm sorry. Jesus Christ, how dumb you have to be. Take some substance, you have no idea who made it, where it came from, what the person put in it, where the person even knows what's in it. That's just Darwin's survival of the fittest playing itself out. The idiots are just killing themselves off, so good riddance. You know, 52,000 less stupid fucking people in the world. You know, we already have enough stupid people as it is. There seems to be a hideous amount of stupid people in this country. So, it's sad when there's a child whose parents die because of overdose, and was just like, you know, I think the kid is better off somewhere else if his parents are so goddamn stupid as to do that. What other stupid shit have they done, or will have done to the child? I mean, if they're that dumb. You know, so you cannot legislate behavior. You cannot legislate morality. You know, if someone wants to overdose on something or take so much that they will overdose, then making it illegal is not going to stop them, as evidenced by these 50,000 people who got their drugs illegally. There's no fucking point. You can never quash it out. No matter how hard you fight this war on drugs, there will always be somewhere else or somebody else to go to. Unless you want like a big brother type of government that spies on every single room of every single building, you know, and every single street too. But it's just like, that's the cost of criminalizing victimless crimes. You want to go that far? Why don't you just legalize everything and anyone can take whatever they want and the stupid people just kill themselves? So we're already, what, I don't know, 9-10 minutes into this video, and I'm not going to read his entire article because then the video would be 45 minutes long or something. I'm not going to bore you guys to death with that, but it's just like, so then he goes on how basically he's saying when drug incarcerations have gone down recently because Obama was quote-unquote soft on the war on drugs, then violent crime has been rising the last couple of years. But the funny thing is that the violent crime he's talking about, first of all, lots of the violent crimes that are uptaking has not been related to drugs whatsoever. It's just random stupid fucking idiots just killing each other. But even the ones that are drug related shows you that vigorous drug enforcement doesn't work. He's saying, oh, it's lax. Obama has been relaxing the war on drugs, and that's why these murders are upticking. No, he hasn't. In fact, he's accelerated. You're cherry-picking some statistics to say that the war on drugs has gone down, but if you just look at other stats that show that it's still going up, like the percentage of Americans in prisons has been rising or staying the same. It hasn't gone down at all. The amount of SWAT raids is on people's homes are increasing or staying the same year per year. The militarization of police, their budgets are still increasing. They're getting more and more weapons, more and more ways to kill Americans with. And it's just like, you cherry-pick statistics to seem like Obama was lax in the war on drugs. And you can just look up Obama accelerates the war on drugs and you get thousands of articles that show the exact opposites. That will show you that no, Obama has accelerated the war on drugs, and this is a result of his policies, is that Americans are dying because of the war on drugs, and they're still getting their drugs and overdosing from them anyway. There are those who are concerned about the fate of drug traffickers, but the law demands that I protect the lives of victims who are ruined by drug trafficking and violent crime infecting their communities. Well, one, on principle, I am concerned with the fate of every American, no matter what they do, even drug trafficker, because even if you're a drug trafficker and you're breaking the law and you're a criminal, guess what? You're an American, you still have rights, and I don't want you to infringe on those rights. I know, just a wild thought that people have inalienably these certain rights that no matter what they do, they still have them. Just because you commit a crime, quote-unquote crime, when there's no victim in the first place. Doesn't mean that those rights magically vanish. I know that that's what you want to happen because you support the Patriot Act, NDA, and the war on drugs in the first place. But I really don't care about a person's actions. They still have rights that you can't break. I know you want to break with your war on drugs and everything. You said I'd protect the lives of victims. Well, there are no victims in victimless crimes. I do admit that there are criminals, gang members who sell drugs, who traffic drugs, who kill innocent people. Now, those are victims, people who just got caught up in the wrong place at the wrong time. But that's not what you're talking about. You're talking about the victims of these people who take drugs, and then you're saying that they're the victims of the criminal. I guess they're both at the same time. I don't know what you're saying in this, but yeah, that's it. I'm going to end up repeating myself if I go any farther on this, but that's the bottom line. Jeff Sessions wrote this op-ed to try to support his push for more money pushing into police, more money in police surveillance of people putting substances in their own body that they willingly choose. You think the police would have better things to do than to run around chasing people and arresting people who are just smoking, mostly smoking marijuana. It's only a sliver of the population that deal with the harder drugs. And yet the police spend all this money on it. They spend billions and billions of dollars, money they don't have because we're trillions of dollars in debt. The states are no better than the federal government with this. Lots of this is federal money, but the states, also have their own police forces. Each county, whatever, each level is involved in the war on drugs. You think you would go after like the murderers and rapists and the people who are smuggling people, sex traffickers and stuff like that, who were their actual victims. You think you would better spend your time chasing those guys? Oh, but that's harder to do. I know, it requires more work. It's easier to arrest some guy for smoking marijuana and throw him in jail for 5 years or whatever, So it's just like, Jeff Sessions should be focused on actual crimes, actual criminals, which have actual victims as a result of these crimes, instead of victimless crimes and wasting money that he doesn't have. Yesterday, Jeff Sessions, our amazing U.S. He ends with, there are those who are concerned about the fate of drug traffickers, but the law, Jesus.